My producer list is coming up. I'm gonna do a top 54 list. He's probably I'm pretty sure he's like number 4 or 5 on my list in terms of like greatest producers of all time. Like I grew up listening to Kanye West. He's one of the first artists, producers that I took notes from in terms of like producing my own beats and like trying to get my own music going. So he's one of the biggest influences that in my entire life, entire music career. Graduation and Late Registration is probably like my 2 favorite albums from him. This guy is a genius sampler, man. And just so in terms of production, I think it's like pretty close to a 10 out of 10. Like when you look at just the instrumentals by itself and you remove Kanye West's rapping, you remove Ty Dolla Sign singing off of it, like I think the production is like top tier. It's one of the best albums I've heard from Kanye in terms of like production in a long time. Like I don't think he's been at this level in a minute, man. Kind of like Yeezus a little bit too. I think he went crazy with the beats, man. Like it's a lot of like new ideas that was introduced in this one. A lot of fresh styles that I've never really heard. Like the way he's sampling is like very different compared to like how he would sample in like previous projects, especially his earlier work with like Graduation and College Dropout, Late Registration. He came a long way from those days, and I think those albums are masterpieces, right? So the only thing is the lyricism. Now the lyricism, he is kind of trying to like, I feel like he's trying to do like a new school type of style with the rapping throughout the album. A lot of the content reminds me sort of like kind of like what Playboy Carti does. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like what Playboy Carti, kind of like a little bit what Drake does, more so than what J. Cole would do. He kind of sounds like he's trying to rap like Drake in a way, with like a lot of the references that he's using, and like not as good as Drake, of course, because like I said, Kanye is one of the greatest producers of all time. But the one thing I always had a problem with Kanye West, I always thought he was a bad rapper, like a really bad rapper. He's the kind of rapper that would really try if the track is featured with other lyricists. That's going to force him to step up his pen game and actually give a better performance, opposed to being maybe being by himself on the track and maybe having like just Ty Dolla Sign, right? When you look at it like that, it's like a rapper thing, man. When you're on a track and you're collaborating with other rappers and those other rappers are good, it forces you to want to try harder on your verse and keep up with what the other lyricists are doing. You get what I'm saying? So then if Kanye West is working with like a guy like Ty Dolla Sign who doesn't rap like at all, who's just an R&B singer, and like the thing with Ty Dolla Sign, he's like the most generic R&B singer like out there. He's an incredible talent, incredible talent, very successful. Sold a lot of records on his own. Like his solo career is great. You know what I mean? He's rich, very famous, and he's extremely talented. But I think his singing voice and his whole singing style is extremely generic, and like the type of lyrics that he would choose and the type of like references that he'll choose to incorporate in his verse it's just super generic. And I think that does not help Kanye want to try. You know what I mean? I feel like when you have an artist like that featured on your song, or whenever Kanye West is like going solo on his song, there's no lyrical energy that's pushing him to like try harder on his own verse, which forces him to like either try to write like a singing song or like try to like write a song from his emotions. Maybe he'll talk about like his mom, or he'll talk about his like daughter, or Kim Kardashian, maybe like his ex-wife. Like he'll go through emotions and try to like make like more of like an emotional song in terms of like his lyricism, rather than trying to like bar up, make a song like J. Cole or like JID where he's trying to be like super lyrical. There is no artist on this album that like pushes them to that. So that's my only like issue about the lyricism on this album. Like I feel like if he had maybe J. Cole I'll even say Drake. If he had Drake featured on this album instead of Ty Dolla Sign, JID, I don't know, like, I'll even say Denzel Curry, man. Like, if he actually had a real lyricist featured on this album instead of Ty Dolla Sign, I feel like that would have forced him to try harder on his lyrics. It would have made the album way better, especially if he gets an artist that can rap and sing at the same time. So like Drake, J. Cole would be the perfect thing. They can do the singing parts for him, and they can bar up, forcing him to bar up too. That's my only thing about the lyricism. And like I said, Kanye West is not known for his rapping. He's known for his production. Going into this album, I actually was expecting the rapping to be bad just because Kanye West is not a good rapper. Like, he's not known for that. He's known for being a producer. He does decent on some songs, but like, that's Kanye West. Like, I've been listening to this guy's music for like such a long time, since I was like a kid. Like, even back in college dropout days, like, I still looked at Kanye as more of a producer and not a rapper. I always thought he was a bad rapper, you know what I mean? So like, I didn't expect him to bar up in this one, especially having a guy like Ty Dolla Sign collaborated on this album. I was thinking more of like an 808's Heartbreak, My Dark Twisted Fantasy, Yeezus style of an album. And that's what we ended up getting. So like, I'm not surprised about what he gave in this album. I am definitely surprised by how well he produced this album. I think the production is like unbelievable, and I think it's underappreciated just a bit. Maybe over time it's gonna grow on some people, but like, just watching other reviewers like talk about the album and kind of like say it's like kind of trash in a way. Like, I think the ideas that he used throughout the album are kind of trash. He's basically just talking about like how hot his wife is. He's talking about like how much money he has, how much sex he's having, how much, you know what I mean? That like millionaire, billionaire lifestyle, going to like clubs and like parties. Talks a little bit about drugs. Sometimes he'll get religious with it just because like he's a religious guy at the same time. And I think those are his best tracks, when he's being like real, talking about his family and like religion and stuff. I think that's when he's being real with his music. But like, for the most part, I say like 80% of the album, lyrically, it's kind of trash. I'm not gonna lie. Like, if I were to give a rating in terms of lyrical content, it'll probably be like a 4 out of 10 or like a 5 out of 10, maybe 4 out of 10. You know what I mean? Like, Kanye's not a good rapper, bro, and he proved that on this album. But like, he's a great song maker, and his song ideas are very unique compared to like what other artists are doing. So saying all that, I probably give the album like a 7 out of 10. Just because the production and the lyricism kind of balance each other out. Let me know what you guys think about this one. You guys probably have a different take. I say 7 out of 10. I think that's a decent rating for this one. He should have had like a J. Cole or like a JID instead of, or Kendrick Lamar, man. Like, imagine Kendrick Lamar and Kanye, or I should say, imagine Kendrick Lamar instead of Ty Dolla Sign for this album. I honestly think it would have been like a modern day classic if he did that. But it's probably some type of strategic reason why he used he collaborated with Ty Dolla Sign amongst any other artist that he could have worked with. And keep in mind, it's Kanye West, you know what I mean? Not only does he have the money for it, but he is like a super significant like producer in hip-hop history. I don't think any rapper would really turn down his offer if he were to collaborate with another guy, but maybe he makes more money out of using Ty Dolla Sign instead of like any other artist. Maybe the amount of money that he can make off the album was the largest with Ty Dolla Sign, you know what I mean? There's some type of strategic like reason for that, I feel like. So it's gonna make him a lot of money. It's gonna be like one of the albums of the year. Everyone's gonna listen to it. You look at his Spotify, he has about 65 million monthly listeners. So like, no matter how bad the album is, people are gonna still like listen to it as if it is a classic. But like, 7 out of 10, man. I think Kanye should definitely work with more lyrical rappers, or just artists overall. I think he should work with stronger artists instead of Ty Dolla Sign. I feel like it just wastes the production. These songs could have been a lot better if the lyrical game was better, but like, that's just my take about it. I love the production on it, bro. Like, Kanye was definitely in his bag when it came to the production, man. Like, I think the beats were fire, bro. I'm not gonna lie, man. I kind of feel like he went retro with it in a way, you know what I mean? He had to turn the clock back and go back to his like MPC roots and really like put out bangers. And I think this album, it might grow on me a little bit. I might like it a little more as the days go. We'll see about that. And he called this one Vultures Win, so maybe there's a Vultures 2 coming up. That's what he's hinting towards. 7 out of 10, man. 7 out of 10, bro. Kanye, you need to get like Kendrick or Drake or J. Cole on this, man, instead, bro. Like, for real, for real. That's it for this album. Reaction. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, this segment. We're going to keep this going once a week. I'm going to do Inferno next by Kid Cudi for next week. So like I said, comment below. Let me know if I got this one wrong. If you would give it a better rating or a worse rating. Let me know what you guys think. Once again, I'm Looper Norris and I'm out of here, man. Peace.